Hello, future doctors. How are you? This is your favorite doctoral expert, Dr. Chanel T. Smith, and I just had a really powerful session with one of my clients who is working on her project and about to go to IRB. But first, we were talking about the proposal, right? Now, the name of the game, the whole thing I'm talking about right now is justify. So, anytime you want to do something with your project, right? And your advisor or your committee members suggest you to do something else, and you still think that your way might be better. First, I want you to be open to the fact that your advisor or your chair just might know what they're talking about, right? So before you say, no, this isn't what I had in mind, I want you to think about it, right? Be open to it. Perhaps the way that they are suggesting is simpler or works better for whatever project that you have. Nevertheless, if you still feel as though the way or the method or whatever you choose to do, it will work better for your project, what you need to do is justify. So for example, with my client, we were talking about methodology. She proposed to do one thing and her advisor wants her to do a different way, right? So what I told her to do in preparation for a meeting that she has, because she got her edits back from the proposal and they want her to change it. What I told her to do in order to have a more informed meeting, right, a more productive meeting as well, is to do the pros and cons for both methods. You can't just go to the meeting and say, well, I want to do my way because it's simpler. Number one, they're going to say, well, this is doctoral studies. What do you mean it's simpler? Right? So the language needs to change. You first have to show that you have given their idea its due, right? It's due that you've thought about it, that you've given it 100% of, you know what, let me really see if this could work. Let me really think about why they are suggesting me to do it this way instead of my way. So you have to do the pros and cons for both, right? And then find out, where, now make your decision. Do you want to go with your advisors, right? And see if their way is actually a better way? Or do you want to do yours before you now go to the meeting and talk about it? Justify your reasonings. And if you have any questions about why they are suggesting something else, you ask them then. This happens this is pertinent for you to do, or very important for you to do in any phase of the program. It's the same thing once you earn your doctorate, right? When you publish or when you defend your dissertation, it's all about justifying. There will be a time where when you write your proposal or your dissertation and you have a committee of 3 or 4 people and they each get your chapters and they have to give you edits, you will have times where 2 or 3 of your committee members have different opinions about a particular part of your project. What do? It's not like, oh, now you have to just take the word of your chair because they're the chair. No, you need to choose which one you are going to go with and justify it. It's the same thing when you're publishing a book, right? You always have to state what you are doing and what you're not going to do so they can't come for you, right? So that is what you need to focus on, no matter what. You can't just say, I don't want to do this, or my way is better. Justify it. Give everything its due. It's the same thing when I was teaching my students when I was a professor for 8 years. And I say, before you can refute someone else's argument, you first have to be able to argue it as if it's your own. Then, and only then, can you then add your 2 cents or, make your own assessment of their argument. It's never enough just to say, I don't want to do that. It's never enough to just say, that just isn't going to work for me. Because, first of all, they're in your field. I'm pretty sure they know something. And secondly, that's just what scholarship is. That is that's the way scholarship works. That is the whole way that the scholarly dialogue plays out. Each book, even if you're in the same field, the same conversation, each book is a back and forth, is a justification. Each book is another iteration of a part of a scholarly dialogue that you are engaging. But each book also has to justify why the previous way or the previous scholar did it that way worked for them, but it doesn't work for the new way that they're proposing it. Justify. It is never enough to just say, I don't want to do it. It is never enough. Always, it's a form of respect, basically, right? Yes, you are a professor. Yes, you're my chair. You're my, advisor or whatever. I'm going to give a really good look as to why you told me I should do it this way. Really, really good. And show you that I know what you said. But then I'm also going to show you and justify why I still want to pursue this other method or this other way of doing it, and give you the pros and cons of that way as well. And when we have our meeting, then we can come to a conclusion. The name of the game is justify all the time. That is what scholarship is about. That is what will help you when you write your book and people want to come for you. Well, if you look at the first part for my rationale, it says, in this book, I will do such and such. While I know that this is the normal way or the traditional way things have been done, I chose not to do it this way because ... That's just one example that came, to my head. Because anyone who comes, well, you didn't do it. Well, if you look at the introduction, I said I wasn't going to do that. Justify. It's the same thing when you go to your defense. Right? Because when you see those edits, first of all, let me tell you, when you get your edits to your chapters or, for when you're writing your dissertation, do not discard them. Keep them, because you know what? When you do your defense, that's where your questions are going to come from. Your questions are going to come from the points in your argument where you had to justify why you chose to do something one way and not another way. So always keep the copies of your feedback. But at your defense, still, it is not a matter of what's right or what's wrong. You get to decide, scholar in training, almost a scholar, future doctors, what you want to do. Just tell the reasons why. And saying something is simple or because it's just better is not enough. You are a scholar. Use your words. Use the jargon. You know what it is. Make it happen, Cap'n. Right? You got this. Okay? Well, that's all I wanted to say. I had a really, really good coaching session. If any of you out there need assistance with your doctoral program, please shoot me a message. I would love to help you in terms of, hey, if you have an issue like my client did today, right? Needing some help in terms of justifying why they wanted to do their project a certain way in lieu of a different way. Or if you need help clearly articulating your argument, or if you need help with accountability, I've done and do it all. I want to see you succeed. Okay? So let's have a 30-minute conversation so you can tell me more about yourself, your program, and then I'll tell you if and how I can help you. And if not, I will refer you to someone who can if I know that person. Okay? You got this. I'm so glad that this was helpful. And reach out to me if you are pursuing your doctorates. I also have a private coaching program for 90 days that is a Create a Strong Application private doctoral program. So whether or not you are a prospective doctoral student or you're about to go in the academic job market, I do that. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy yourself. If you've worked, it's time to play. Yes, you do have time to play. Make the time. The word of the game is justify. My name is Dr. Chanel T. Smith, your favorite doctoral expert. You got this. You're brilliant. Take care.